cold December night in 1773, the air was filled with tension. This night would go down in history as a turning point, a moment of defiance that sparked a revolution. This was the Boston Tea Party. The Boston Tea Party was more than just an act of rebellion. It was a bold statement against an empire. But why did it happen? To understand, we must first look at the Tea Act. On May 10, 1773, the British Parliament, with the support of the King of England, passed the Tea Act. This law granted the British East India Company the exclusive right to sell tea to the American colonies without paying the usual export tax. While the Townshend Acts of 1767 had imposed a tax on various imported goods, including tea, the Tea Act allowed the British East India Company to bypass these taxes. As a result, the company's tea became cheaper than that of other merchants, effectively giving it a tea monopoly in America. The colonists were outraged by the Tea Act, viewing it as an example of taxation without representation, which was a growing sentiment against British rule. The Sons of Liberty channeled this growing resentment and the rising tensions caused by this law and decided to take action. The Sons of Liberty were a group of American patriots who were important in standing against British policies and fighting for the colonists' rights. While they often employed peaceful protests, they also resorted to more aggressive tactics, such as harassment, destroying property, and would even tar and feather British tax collectors. The Sons of Liberty, including notable figures like Samuel Adams and John Hancock, hatched their plan for revenge. On December 16, 1773, under the cover of darkness, they disguised themselves as Mohawk Native Americans. The disguises served a dual purpose: to hide their identities and to symbolize that they were no longer British subjects. The protesters boarded 3 British ships full of tea. In just a few hours, 342 chests of tea, worth nearly $1 million today, were dumped into the icy waters of Boston Harbor and destroyed. The British response was swift and severe. The coercive acts were quickly passed to punish Boston. These acts were intended to punish the American colonies, particularly Massachusetts, for their defiance and to restore British authority. The acts closed Boston's port, revoked self-governance in Massachusetts, allowed British officials to be tried outside the colony, and required colonists to house British troops. The colonists viewed these acts as excessively harsh and oppressive, hence they called them the Intolerable Acts. The acts were an attempt to crush the spirit of rebellion, but they had the opposite effect. Instead of submission, the colonies united, and the First Continental Congress was convened, setting the stage for the American Revolution.